Thank you so much for joining us. A warm welcome to this week's broadcast of News in Depth here on ZNBC TV1. I am your presenter, Penifa Nyirenda. On the program today, we'll be joining Masaso Mkwayaya as he enlightens us on a program where women are being empowered with information on land rights with a special focus on widows.
The world boasts of a lot of different natural resources that is a source of wealth for humanity. Zambia is blessed with some of these natural resources such as water, copper, waterfalls and wildlife, among others. However, all these resources cannot exist on their own. They thrive on land. Land is known to be the novel source of all material wealth. Ultimately, everything that humanity uses can be traced back to this commodity. Zambia sits on 7,552,621 square kilometers of land. This commodity is a common property for every Zambian. Apparently, without this geographical commodity, no one can claim to be Zambian. A country called Zambia exists because of this immovable commodity.
Land is too valuable to be considered only for the sake of economic development per se, because they are saying it is the basis of the identity of the Zambians. You are a Zambian because of land. If you have no territorial place called Zambia, then you do not have that identity. So that must come as, according to them, must come very strong in the policy, so that it protects this Zambia that we think of, apart from eking for our own economic development because of the use of the land that we have.
Land in urban areas is the sole commodity where industries that drive the country's economy are built. In rural areas, land is largely not exploited. With levels of poverty in rural areas estimated to be over 60%, land appears to be the most important source of wealth that a person in these parts can possess. And because land is widely regarded as a source of wealth, it has also been a source of conflict for centuries. This conflict is plain enough to see in the rural parts of Zambia. Cases of land grabbing involving widows have skyrocketed. It is estimated that 6 in every 10 widowed women here are victims of land grabbing. Elizabeth Kaole is a 27-year-old widow of Matanda village. Here, she tenderly weeds her small field in her backyard. This tiny piece of land is the only property that she is left with. She says the over 5 hectares of land that she owned together with her husband was grabbed from her 2 years ago when her husband died. The mother of 4 says taking care of the family has been a nightmare ever since she lost her land to named villagers.
Yadi kalamba bapokele bekala mushibate ba family baba lumyao bekala mushachi impanga ba shime fie so efi ba fwa ba shime mwala fumapo impanga ilali ntutwa ikwete twalelima nga twalime mbalala twalima na binizi twalima na mataba filafi ntonga twasombola fiale tuletera kubuya ntanshi okufwala kwa bana kusambirira kwa bana okuyifuika fwebe na malo filafine fiale tupera kubuya ntanshi nga twasombola yali afye filafine bali pokolola pana na shala fye fino fine shakwata nimpanga pa kubomba.
Noel Mwelwa, a 50-year-old widow of Matanda village, is another victim of land grabbing. She says her and her late husband managed to educate one of their children up to grade 12 using money realized from selling crops that were grown on a piece of land that they owned. She revealed that their land was however taken from her in 2014 when her husband died. As a result, 2 of her children have since dropped out of school.
Nombo kutula pope nengwa waya fie mwa kulima pana hashima na sonkela filafine apana na hashima na sonkela filafine elo ndedi ma filafine ama afya ndeshi ngwana na yena ndefiro kusambirisha bakaskulu bantu abababiri ba grade uwalefo kwa grade 10 alekane school elo kabiri uyumo ena tasambira kusambira ali ni grade 7 mwana kashi baikala fefinufini elo kaidi nganda na yena shakwata twali kulire ko tulumzi ashala malata shakwete akwebati ninga chitashani bantu mukulima mulye moto alefumya mpia shakuchitenani shakwebati shotutunga shitamo tunga twala ko kunta shitwa shitamo malata yako batunga pulishisha yambi amalumu ya shele ko sona kwata fetulumzi na kwate yoyini.
This is the kind of misery that Noel and other women here are subjected to. However, a shiny ray of hope is slowly beaming down on Noel and other women going through hardships caused by illegal land grabbing. The Justice for Widows and Orphans Watch traveled for more than 700 kilometers from Lusaka to rural parts of Mansa. They traversed the rough and tarred terrains to deliver information that will equip widows with knowledge meant to protect them from victimization of their rights to own land. Organization Executive Director Felix Kunda interacted with some victims of land grabbing in Matanda village. Here he conducted a training with these women. The training was meant to equip the widows with knowledge on land rights. On the sidelines of the training, Mr. Kunda noted an increase in land grabbing cases in these parts.
Illegal land grabbing, especially in this area, it's actually very, very high. I would say it's on the increase. And this is the reason why we as an organization has decided to come in to try and mitigate the illegal grabbing of land from the vulnerable people like widows. The challenge here is when a widow has had the land grabbed from her, the area is far from the urban, and it's about 62 kilometers and the road is bad. So for that particular widow to complain, first of all, she has nowhere to complain to, and as a result, she will just be here suffering on her own. So we as an organization, we saw it as a signal to come and help these people here.
And the traditional leader in the area, Chief Matanda of the Ushi people, is against victimization of widows. He says relatives to a deceased person should desist from grabbing land from widows. He adds that land and other properties left behind should be spared for the wife and children.
Twalondola abantu bukankala bwampanga, twalondola abantu isho wafuile kuchita umonga abulapo pantu mfuate ya lelo ya muntu uli wonse ungapoka ili ampanga naine isho kuchalimbie mwina mwaka kuti abulapo nawo kuti wapoka ili ampanga abantu wakwe. So ni muli imibele tulabasamilisho kutila mwome ngafwa mwana kashashala eka nabana for that matter. Tako tina ngumbi kabili wako mwafu wako kale balepo kanama kasuno isembe wapoka leo tesho chiliyo kupita napo tufikile lelo tulabeba kutila mwapoka isembe mwapoko kasu nomuleba tinombo yu washala kabonfyanshi. So tula bakta sensaizo kutila bafuile bashia ule muntu impanga pantu ni ule muntu akalimina kuinga makamaka kwa tabana.
The Justice for Widows and Orphans Watch has escalated their efforts in addressing issues of land grabbing in rural areas. The organization is spearheading the creation of widows clubs in rural areas. The clubs, which are managed by a group of widows, are meant to offer moral and material support to widows who are potential victims of land grabbing. Mr. Kunda says the organization plans on reaching out to over 14,000 widows in 2 years across Luapula Province.
Then the other strategies, we have formed what we are calling the widow support groups. We know that once a widow, it's very difficult for you on your own to stand up, but in a group you will actually form a bigger voice. So we have the Widows and Orphans support groups, and in Mansa we have 11 support groups, and what we're doing is to train them on their inheritance and land rights.
Miriam Kafula is the chair lady of a widows club in Mansa's Mabumba chiefdom. Ms. Kafula knows too well the importance of land to rural women. She says a walk into the future without land becomes slow and uncertain. She laments that this is because hopes of a successful and bright future are literally anchored on commodities found on and inland.
Obukankala bwaba mumpanga isho twakwata kuno kulima nga twalalima mumpanga twalasombole fyakulya firefe twalafunya mumpanga fyala twafwa mumirire mukutwala bana ku sukulu ifiri fyonse fye nga twabombesha kuti fyaisa fya fintu twafwa emirimo yonse inga tushupa emkwa awo kwena kuno takwaba kwechachire mpanga ni mpanga fye abako.
The Justice for Widows and Orphans Watch has also created more widows groups in Nsonga Chiefdom. Here, the area chief, Chief Nsonga, of the Ushi people of Mansa, has pledged to do his part to protect rural women.
Ekyo kintu pamonga mweka bungwe kiresa mukuleta ko obwafya kuli uli omuntu wa ashala yeka ero basabule mpanga bakiteni bamupoka uli amuntu ayikali bwino iyo so kinga wamishabula omuntu wa ashala yeka akapanga bamulekere muna no kushala yeka alasungwa kogwino imikalire yakwe yakula afuma muli yamwe mukapanga akula limpa panono ale sungira mu bumbi bwakwe n'obumbi bw'abaana bali abana bakishale.
The traditional leader shared how he is also gaining knowledge from the trainings on land rights that have been given to women in his chiefdom.
Ifinge nshafi ishiba so rumande tiri program mu cyaro cyandi ili skulu kuli nebo nasambira mu ifintu ifingi sana kanshi umuntu nga cyakutira afwa bali kwetera imbika hapa ngafili afine tabafire barupalo ni bayikata ko iyo ni mwabombe nifu bayike no mulume na abana barasungirwa kwa abana bandi paria abana pa kusungwa tabasungwe beka iyo barasungwa nangina buli nshinaba kwata.
And some victims in different parts of Mansa are calling on traditional leaders to look into their welfare. They say this is because stripping them off their land simply entails the start of a chain of unimaginable misery.
Amashwa utuinga bakwatira ko ubwafya bakanabesa nabena bali belele mu ubwafya muri yempanga mukutulanjira ko filia bakanabesa abene bayo mpanga kuri abo bene abapokere nga Untitled Chapter bapokere katushinga ya mu bufisoro katushifiti nomba kashi nabena bali mu bwafya fisana nomba kashi tualekere fieta pali kufena mfumo fetu wachita tuwa wafi
bamfumu balatumana bakapaso na ba polisi na ba kochi batutwala muri ile mpanga bapitamo songa bapita muri ile mpanga bamunefyo ile muneka balapera mukamfuirwa napo pena ine bali mpera nambabuka kafe bwabo bamayo bapangiri bali pokola fefefe ne kumaka so imfumu na ila kwata molu bali ulwako afuirisha uli ole chula bonse na ba kochi na ba polisi bala kwata molu bali ulwako afuirisha.
How can these widows and orphans be protected from exploitation? It is important to note that most land that is recorded in the village register here is registered in the man's names.
Okay.
Take for instance Matanda, a village lying about 62 kilometers southwest of Mansa District. Most land owned by families here is acquired and held in the name of the husbands. Probably this is because the Zambian society is largely patriarchy-centered. However, the Zambian Disability Rights Watch is excited to note that the draft land policy is emphasizing the need to protect land ownership among marginalized groups such as the differently abled in society, women and the youth. Organization coordinator Bruce Choma says these provisions are progressive and need to be supported.
We're expecting that women with disabilities, for instance, are going to be also given preferential treatment when it comes to allocating land by the state through the councils who are the agents of land. But also it has gone on to provide for measures, state-run programs that are going to provide land to disadvantaged groups like women, persons with disabilities and young people. Another advantage we've seen with the youth is that the policy has proposed that we drop the legal age for acquiring and controlling land from the current 21 to 18 years. So if the policy is accepted, it means that now even young people who are as young as 18 years are going to be allowed to legally own and control land.
Meanwhile, because of the decency that owning land bestows on human beings, the Zambia Land Alliance is of the belief that the commodity should not be sold to citizens.
Zambia belongs to Zambians,
and all resources that God has given us should be enjoyed by Zambians without actually compromising the possibility of future generations to benefit from the resources that are here in our country. We would also like to ask all the key stakeholders to see a land policy development process as a very important step. As you know, all other resources thrive on land. So once we have an effective land administration system, we are going to get rid of all the challenges and chaotic land administration practices that we have seen. As you have noticed, we have noticed that in the absence of a guide, in the absence of the policy, we have seen everyone everywhere could administer land in the manner they want. We have even seen political cadres giving out land, which is not supposed to be the case. So we hope that the spirit that is there now should continue.
Land in rural areas is to some extent not for sale. Villagers seeking to acquire land in a particular chiefdom just need to identify an area with the guidance of a village headman. The headman is then expected to accompany the people seeking ownership over a piece of land to the chief. Chief Matanda of the Ushi people of Mansa District briefly explained how land is acquired in his area.
Umuntu bali upana mwamina mkashi mwina makwe bafuile baya mumpanga bamuna njendenga bawamina elo baisa kuline pamonge mfumu na bapela bachirona bakapaso bayapongota muri mpanga kone ikuti yatulinga ili mpanga yaba yabo pano mayafilia no baisa kuchipango na balembela kapepala.
Most people owning land in rural areas do not have any documentation showing details of ownership. The Justice for Widows and Orphans feels this is one of the reasons that has made it easy for unscrupulous people to engage in land grabbing. Mr. Kunda's organization has been working together with the traditional leadership to introduce traditional land certificates. He says the certificates are meant to offer a more detailed record of land ownership compared to the village register.
For these people here, they have nothing. What they have is land. Land is the only resource that they have in this area. And once they grab land from them, it simply means that they will remain with nothing. And for us, we came up with a strategy to try and protect their inheritance and land rights. First of all, there's no documentation when you're given a piece of land. All they do is to tell you that your land starts from that area to that anthill and to that tree. And because of that, at times it's easy to evict a widow because there's no documentation. So as one of our strategies, we actually printed the certificates which we've given to the local chief here, Chief Matanda, so that each and every person in the area has some form of documentation to show that this is part of his or her piece of land.
And Chief Matanda says land certificates are proven to bring some sanity in land administration in the village.
Mulimo waleta wa Kunda usumanga ncho kutupela tulepepela tuma certificate tulia tulapela muchinga chichao chikuru bambira kuti shikulia kumana tutupepela iyo aza bengi nali bapela pantu nchasho kuti ona kwata maka ya mpanga kwa batiyo tatubapela tupepela iyo tulapela njo vyawe napa nomba line kwa jamu wakisa alefaya impanga bisa venenkoko kuchipango tabisafye minwe iyo kusafene ngokwephela olefwa impanga emkwaye nobunga of course ola muntu twamulembera kapepala songa nangu nabulire po ine abo abayashi babulire abanapyana abo bapele bali konkanyapo.
Miriam Kafola, a chair lady of a widows club in Mabumba village, is appealing to government and traditional leaders to work together in ensuring that women are included on land certificate so that widows and widowers are protected from land grabbing in case of death of a partner.
Bantu kunstei takwali ukwe bati ifwenga twayapoke mpanga let's say newine ilo twairepoke ichipepala cha mpanga tababikire po mashina yandi babikire po mashina y'abalume so ifi kuli ukufwairisha tumangwe twakuya funyapo mashina ayo ayabashikuru no kubika po mashina yandi nomba apo pena kuti twakoseresha obuteko na bashamfumu ilo tule ya mukulembesha panta tuishibe ukabalira popali ine na bashikuru bale tubikira polimo kuti twate mo buteko nga bwala tubikira polimo bashamfumu batubikira polimo pa paper la filia pakuti nangu bashikuru bafwa ine natwale chipepa la kulia mashina yandi epo yadi.
The Justice for Widows and Orphans went a step further by providing widows groups with some bicycles to aid their movements.
We're also building their capacity by giving them bicycles, so that if in their locality a widow has lost a piece of land, these widows are supposed to go and help that particular widow. So in a way, we are trying to strengthen their inheritance and land rights.
Most women in these rural parts of Luapula who are victims of land grabbing have been left destitute. This is why the Justice for Widows and Orphans has empowered widows clubs with some capital for them to venture in small businesses.
What we do is, first of all, we profile each widow in the support group. So we pick an individual widow and ask her questions, and based on that we'll be able to tell what would suit that particular support group. And based on that, what we do is, if for instance in Matanda the majority wants to be cooking oil, so what we do is we will give them money so that they are able to buy cooking oil from Mansa, and then they will start selling cooking oil here. And of course there are others that want to do gardening, so what we do is we'll give them money, and then that money they're able to buy fertilizer, and then they will have a communal garden or a communal farm.
And those who have benefited from the initiative are very thankful to the organization for restoring their hope for a better future.
apeto nde chitanomba ndepanga fye business ifine ababene abatwafuirisha muri bumukamfiro ngabatuletera ukalupia batu akanyako kali akalupia nambo kungulo twa business nde chitisha pa market, so ni chipano nomba yengito ndebo mbani pa market chitisha
kuti bangafuirisha kufika gwafuirisha bakobati kutina munako ambi apo ningasombola banshitira ko akapanga akakobati nasambirisha mu babambi abashere nabo.
On the other hand, Mr. Kunda and other stakeholders with interest in land issues have also called for strengthening of the customary land tenure. They say the land system needs to be strengthened so that vulnerable women, especially those in rural areas, are protected from land grabbing.
One of our proposals is to strengthen the customary land tenure. With land which has title, there's no problem because it belongs to someone else. But customary land, this is where the challenge is. For us, our proposal would be to try and sensitize the traditional leaders, the chiefs, because traditional land belongs to the chiefs.
We've been arguing as civil society organization that customary land should also be protected equally. And so in the policy, there are provisions that tend to do just that. There's the idea of what are referred to as traditional land certificates, which are supposed to be given by chiefs. So that is recognized in the policy, that these land certificates should be legalized. In other words, they should become legal document. So that is provided in the policy. Secondly, there is also the provision in the policy of local land management or administration, that some guidelines in order to provide and guide the administration of land, especially under customary tenure, should be sort of developed. As you know, customs differ in Zambia. If you are in Bemba land, you are in Tonga land or Chewa land, and the way land is administered is different. So the question that was being asked is, can we all have common principles?
And the Justice for Widows and Orphans has further called on government to empower traditional leaders with transport so that they are able to move to different areas in their chiefdoms where they are usually needed to attend to land disputes.
Sometimes a widow would lose a piece of land maybe 20 kilometers from where the chief is. So the chief has no means to go and verify what is happening there. So the first thing is for the government to strengthen and build the capacity of our chiefs, our local chiefs. Perhaps provide them with transport so that they're able to visit all the chiefdoms. In that way, they'll be able to protect the vulnerable women in their chiefdoms.
And land interest groups have also urged traditional leaders to avoid the temptation of selling off huge tracts of land to foreign investors at the expense of local people.
Chiefs have been accused of selling land even to foreigners, and this is a serious concern from government, because government, I think, would like to develop land for the benefit of all people. But the chiefs have actually asked the government to not to give to raise a blanket accusation that chiefs are doing this. There is, according to them, we have engaged the House of Chiefs, and we have engaged the chiefs individually and collectively, and they say that if there are chiefs who are actually doing this, they are doing this illegally, and I think there should be laws that should be used to bring such traditional leaders to book.
In order to reduce the increase in cases of land grabbing in rural areas, women are being urged to take keen interest in documentations bearing details of their land.
This wraps up our program for this week, where Masasum Kwaya was looking at an initiative empowering widows with information on land matters. We do hope that you found this week's program informative yet again. Well, make it with us for another interesting broadcast of News in Depth. My name is Penny Nyirenda saying goodbye and stay blessed.